Let's move on to a concept a little bit more complex in decimals, and that's the concept of terminating versus non-terminating decimals. So you're probably thinking, what kind of horrible name is that? Well, let me explain. So let's look at these two numbers. So we've got 0.875, which is actually equal to 7 over 8, and 0.66666 recurring, so that 6 does not stop, which is actually equal to 2/3, or 2 divided by 3. Now, this bar symbol here is the symbol of a recurring decimal. So basically, to the infinity, you would have just 6s here, but we've got other things to do, so we don't write all those 6s. We just write sometimes 1, sometimes a couple or 3, and we put a bar above just to say that that's going to repeat. Okay, so this is a non-terminating decimal just because the numbers or the digits don't stop, they don't terminate. Whereas in this case of 0.875, the decimal stops or terminates at 5. So it's true that we could put a 0 or like any number of zeros after that we want, but that would actually not change the number, right? So traditionally we don't write all those zeros afterwards, we just stop at the 5, and that's why it is called a terminating decimal. Now, there are a few GMAT questions where this concept pops up. The key thing to remember is what differentiates a terminating and a non-terminating decimal comes from the factors in its denominator, and in particular the prime factors. So this is jumping a little bit ahead. We're going to see factors and prime factors at some point in this course. Keeping things very simple for now, in this particular fraction, so 7 over 8, the denominator is 8, and we can write 8 as 2 times 2 times 2, or we can also write that as 2 to the power of 3. Now, that 2 is a prime, and it is among the prime factors that create a terminating decimal. So if your denominator has only 2s or 5s in it, so for example, if we divide something by 10, 10 is 2 times 5, we're still going to have a terminating decimal from that. Whereas if we have anything in the denominator that's not a 2 or 5, and in this case a 3, well, we're going to have a non-terminating decimal. So, I mean, if you've got nothing else to do, you could play around with a calculator and divide things by other things. As soon as you divide something by something that has something else than the 2 or the 5, it will not terminate. You will have an infinite number of decimals. So if you take 6, for example, you divide 5 by 6, you're going to end up with a non-terminating decimal, because in the 6 you've got 2 times 3, so the 2 is okay, but the 3 is a problem, so it's going to be non-terminating. Now, the thing you have to be very careful about is this is only in the simplest form. So, for example, if we multiply this 7 over 8 by 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, so we would get 21 over 24, well, we could say, well, in the denominator, 24, we've got a 3. But that's because it's not in its simplest form, right? We can simplify that 3 with the 3 at the top and narrow it down to 7 over 8, and there the 8 just has 2's in it, so that is going to be terminating.